I'm going to show these bots because I want to give you an idea on the direction Space Ape are taking with this new bot. But I will do a bit of proviso that I think it's being pushed from Dale to change this bot. Because I hit him up as soon as it was announced. And I sort of hit him up saying that I wasn't happy with something. And he sort of agreed. I think he sort of said, like, I kind of get it. I didn't agree, but it was kind of like, I understand what you're saying. And I think he kind of agrees on that sort of aspect. But ultimately, it's up to Jesse to decide whether he still wants to go with that. Because if he wants to really change it, it's a lot of work. So the question is now, how happy or unhappy are people with the bot? And do people want it changing? Now, that just comes from the playtesters, which we'll talk about shortly. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to show you the bot. And I want you to put your opinion in the chat. Before you watch the video further, before you watch the stream further, just go and put your opinion on the bot in the chat before I say anything else about it. First impressions. Whether you would go for it as endurance or not. Whether you're impressed with it or not. Just read the description and let me know. So this is what's been suggested for the new bot. Now, I know it has Optimus Prime's ability. I know it has a picture of Optimus Prime. That's just a stand-in for the time being. Because, obviously, they give it to us earlier. All they basically done is said, listen, this will be the ability. What do you guys think? They have said that it will equip range combats. So it still will be slightly different than Optimus Prime. So please don't think this is Optimus Prime. But I do want you to think about the ability carefully. So the cost is 3+1. The health and damage is obviously not set in stone. I imagine it's a bit like a gunner. So in that sense, so that's something to think about as well. Special gunner. So rally Autobots to engage the target for 9.5 seconds. Then send in a holo that deals 2,500 damage to the target and make them take 20% extra damage for 9.5 seconds. Now, when this was announced in playtest, a lot of the playtesters were like, yeah, I quite like this. I don't mind this. Yeah, I can see this being used at higher levels in the game. These are kind of the things that I saw when I was reading through playtest when it was first announced. When we also got this actually in the game, it did show Optimus Prime. And it did have Optimus Prime's image. It had his ability image. And when I hear the words rally Autobot to engage the target, I think of Optimus Prime. Then send in a holo that deals damage and make it take extra damage for 9.5 seconds. So a lot of that sounds very similar to Optimus Prime. Now, we had Aerial come in the game not too long ago, which was similar to Optimus Prime, but didn't quite hit as hard as Optimus Prime. And I think some of the playtesters said, yeah, people think that Aerial is better than Optimus. I disagree because of the range. Because if a bot walks off and you're using Aerial, although Aerial is probably better in terms of HP and things like that, she doesn't have the immunity that Optimus Prime has, and she doesn't have the range. So I don't think personally Aerial is better than Optimus Prime. I think Optimus Prime is better. So rally Autobots to engage the target. So I'm just going to show you something that I think is quite similar to this. So first off, you've got rally Autobots to engage the target and shield them from damage. So very similar, but instead of shielding, they're doing more damage. And like Optimus Prime, he does run in afterwards. So there's a worry that he's going to go into a kill box area and get killed with such low HP. Optimus Prime has 30k damage, which is quite low. This guy has like 20k because it's a ranged combat. So I'm not really keen on the rallying Autobots bit with a low HP bot. Then we've got another bot that we need to consider as well. This sounds a bit like. So aim at a defense. So you are rallying the troops, same as Hound Vamp. Defenses in the area receive 40% more damage and get prioritized by all bots for 3.5 seconds. Now, granted, it's only level 1. Let's upgrade it. So we've got now Hound Vamp at level 10. I'll upgrade to 11 because it's a bit very much different than Optimus Prime's or any other bot Orion PAX. But you can see there, 40% more damage for 13 seconds after you aim at a defense. So looking again, 9.5 seconds, 13 seconds. Now, when I start comparing bots, for starters, if I start comparing a new bot to content that we consider not to be very good at the highest level of the game, I start to get worried first off. I start to think, well, why are people not using Hound Vamp if this ability is that good in terms of rallying troops? But Hound Vamp is 5+1, so is it a cost issue? If Hound Vamp was 3+1, would people use it more? Then we've got the rallying Autobots for 9.5 seconds. Now, the main two worries for me about this is, one, it's just recycling old ideas again. All we've done is we've got Optimus Prime, we've got Hound Vamp, and gone, let's combine the two and make a bot out of it. And Optimus Prime is not the most relevant bot in the meta. I've got news for you, Space Ape. It's not like you took the two best bots in the game and gone, oh, if we combine them, it'd be amazing. Not really. At a cost of 3+1, maybe. But for the Hound Vamp part, the prioritizing targets, and for him to rush in, having such low DPS, I just find that there's a lot of problems with this bot. But the main problem for me is, at the minute in the game, Optimus Prime doesn't work as he should. Now, I said to Dale, I said, if they're bringing out a new bot that does rallying like Optimus Prime, does that mean they're going to fix Optimus Prime? And he said, no, this is going to work the same as Optimus Prime. Which speaks to me that Orion PAX is going to be broken on launch. He's going to be the same as Optimus Prime. So there's going to be bots that don't follow the rush sometimes, that walk off. And let's be honest, this is the reason that people don't use Optimus Prime. Because he's not dependable. And when we talk about things on this channel sometimes, I say that a reason to not go for this bot is because you can't depend on the damage because it's a variable. We don't like variables. We like to be able to go, I am going to do A and it's going to do B. I am going to rush to the target and all my bots are going to follow. If that was to happen, I think we'd see Optimus Prime a lot more at high levels. We do see Optimus Prime at high levels, but not as much as you would think. But with him being broken, I don't understand why Space Ape have gone, oh, we've got a broken bot in the game. Let's bring out a new bot that will have the same problems. And this is why in playtest, I think Dale sort of talking behind the scenes and going, maybe this is not a good idea. That at the minute we're getting criticised for bringing out bots that are lacking in imagination, which this does. We're bringing out bots that people are saying that this bot won't really work, like we do with Metal Hawk. It's not really something desirable. And I think that with the HP, he can have 2+1 or 1+1 if he wanted. He's going to die quite quickly. And that's a bit of a problem as well, which means says to me that Space Ape don't really understand the mechanics behind the bot. And then you've got a bit of a problem in the fact that it's very comparable to Hound Vamp, who's not desirable. So I wasn't really happy when I saw this. It's recycling old content, it's going to be buggy, and it's going to really die quite quickly. And I was quite excited for Orion PAX when I heard him being released, because it's a Prime, and 3+1 sounds quite good, it's quite cheap, quite spammy. And I thought, the problem is though, if they actually got this to work, let's just say they fixed Optimus Prime, let's say they got this to work, are we going to see people rush into the HQ and taking the HQ down for 3+1? Is it too cheap for rushing? But then you've got to say, but then if they increase the cost, that makes it even worse. And so I feel like this bot is dead on arrival already. And I hate to be able to sit here and go, even right now, because I can't see Space Ape taking the time to reinvent this. And I think that's really what needs to be done. I think they need to take this ability and go back to the drawing board. Now, again, I do want to stress that Dale said that this might change completely. This ability might get binned and they might go back to the drawing board with it. But from my personal experience on Space Ape's planning and Space Ape's quite stubbornness on some things, I imagine they will go, no, we don't have the time and the resources to do that. We're going to have to try and make the best of what we can. Now, they can make it, I don't think they'll make it cheaper, but they can improve this, give it more damage. They can do what they want with it. They can change the class. They can do all these sort of things. But no matter what they do, they aren't going to fix the Prime Rush. Yanis has tried and said it's almost impossible. He's tried, but there's things in the game that are variables that stop the bots from following. It can't be fixed. Can't be. So if they've said that it can't be fixed, then this bot is going to be bugger from day one. Be prepared for that, unless it changes the ability. So we will know more, I think, next week. I think that if it doesn't get changed by next week, then it won't get changed at all. I think it does. I think it really needs going back to the drawing board. I feel like they've looked through the game at what they've already got and just gone, let's just do another one of those. But again, don't take this as gospel, because next week we'll know a bit more, and hopefully SpaceX will realise their error and go, yeah, you know what, we really effed up with this. It's a bad choice and we're going to change it. Fingers crossed, guys.